last presidential election, we had two sinners running against each other. One that's a Democrat and one that's a Republican. Clearly nobody's a perfect choice. The only perfect choice is Jesus, God in the flesh, the only begotten Son of God, the Alpha and the Omega. But we consider these people who are ruling over us as kings, princes, counselors. But in this case, he seemed like the winner, the presidency is a king of some sort, a leader. And like I said, neither of these candidates are perfect. These candidates, Kamala and Trump, are both weak on abortion. They both support abortion. Trump a little less, but he does support abortion at state level. So he does support slaughtering of children, unborn babies. However, there is a consistency to him. There is at least some stability to him. Unlike Kamala Harris, he did install, I'll use that word, 3 Supreme Court justices during his first tenure as president, and they were able to expand the Second Amendment rights to make concealed carry permits shall issue rather than may issue, so it's easier to get a carry permit. He does appear to support free speech, and this free speech seems to center around gender language, he, she, they, pronouns, being able to express your beliefs that are, of course, nonviolent without repercussion. He believes that there is one man and one woman, nothing else, which that's how God made it, so that's how it is. So he does support the family structure, it seems. I don't think he's a Christian. That's between him and God, though. You know, he says he believes in God. He says he believes God saved him from his assassination attempt. Those things all may be true, but I don't think he's a Christian. That's between him and God. However, God raises kings and he lowers kings. And God likely put Trump in his place for his own will, for his glory. But I think there's a person in history that reminds me of Trump, and there's going to be similarities. I think Trump is going to be similar to Constantine of the Byzantine Empire, when Constantine legalized Christianity because Christians were punished, condemned, executed for hundreds of years after Jesus walked the earth. Burned, hung, thrown in almost a literal lion's den, thrown in the gladiators' Colosseum, executed. And then Constantine legalized Christianity. He apparently was a Christian himself. He had a vision of the cross in the sky during battle, and his men had the vision too. And then he said the vision from God. Don't know for sure or not. Don't know. His claim, he appears to be claiming this, or claimed this according to Eusebius, I think. Says that, you know, he saw a cross in the sky, and then the vision told him to fight or defeat or battle, win, conquer, something like that. And then he converted his empire to seemed to be a Christian empire. Property that was seized from the Christians was given back. They were given rights. He put them in political offices. He gave them rights. Because Christians were the most persecuted back then. Jews alike, I think, maybe, but Christians were definitely persecuted, and he gave them rights. So I consider Trump similar to Constantine in that he's going to make it easier to be a Christian. So in this time in the United States, you know, at this point up until Trump won, you know, it was getting to be a little more difficult. You know, you could be challenged on, you know, your beliefs and your language and your he, she, and you as a Christian, you must stand, and even if it costs you your job or fine, you know, you say what God's truth is, and that's it. It seems like for at least the next 2 years, maybe 4 years, that there's going to be a little ease in the United States because Trump believes in conservative values, constitutional values, which are similar to morals, you know, like free speech, man and woman, no transsexuals, no trannies. So this could be a prosperous time for Christians in the United States, similarly as it was for Christians under Constantine of the Byzantine Empire. So Constantine waited to the end of his life to get baptized because he thought, he wanted to wash away as many sins as possible. Obviously, baptism does not wash sins away. However, in his mind, his heart seemed to be in a place where he regarded baptism very highly. So it's interesting how he waited to the end of his life, Constantine, to be baptized. But I think Constantine is similar to Trump, or Trump is similar to Constantine. And in the United States, we could, as a Christian, live in a more prosperous time, a safer time, if you will. But it's only because of God. God is sovereign. He raises kings. He lowers kings. He puts people in power. He is sovereign. He controls. God can move the pieces, move people, control. He can move people as he wants, control actions if he wishes. I don't think it's God's normal move to control the actions of men, but he can facilitate the actions of men. And I think he has put Trump in place. So we'll see how it's going to work out. But Jesus is the one on the throne. He sits on the highest throne above all the nations. He's the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Let's not just get into this MAGA rage where we just forget about everything. Jesus is King. He's the final sacrifice. He is our salvation. But also on the earthly talk, just because Trump is one, let's pay attention to everything he does. Let's see if what he said during the campaign lines up with what he's going to do. Lower taxes or no taxes, tariffs on imported goods, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security, wages, I think, for people who are collecting Social Security. He's going to fix the men, woman, trans thing, that he's only going to recognize men and women. He's perhaps going to have it wrote in Title IX. We'll see what he's going to do. He's made a lot of promises. I hope he's able to fulfill them. And I hope, most of all, that he is born again and he believes on the name of Jesus Christ. And he knows that's his only way to be forgiven for his sins, as that's the only way anybody can be forgiven of their sins, is because of the blood, the mercy of Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send the Son in the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him. He who believes in him will not be condemned, but he who does not believe in him is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God.